Okay. Okay. I misunderstood.
I can't hear. That's
Okay, UB, focus. Okay, Yasser, we ready to learn? Yes? Okay, look at number 1. Okay, we're going to come back and fill this out in a minute. You have... I don't, that's all I have. Why would I have hot...
quiz. It's going to make them pop too.
Okay, yes. Okay, you have a quiz tomorrow, and it is over the 3 days of notes this week. It doesn't cover last week. Okay, but then next week on Friday, you have a test. And that will cover, but we'll review for it, okay? So next week is pretty much all review, and then you'll have your test on Friday. But your quiz tomorrow... just hang on. Okay, is a cubic graph, cubic inverses, and then solving cubics, which is what we're doing today. Today should be the easiest day of the week, okay, if you know how to solve stuff. So,
Wait, can I ask my question?
okay, what's your question?
Right?
You will have homework, but we'll be doing some of it. You'll have time to do it in class. Okay? So, number 1, look at it. What do you guess we should do first? We should what? Plus the 1 over, yeah?
I said you're going to hear me too, every two.
And then you want a cubic root it.
Okay, these guys cross out.
And then you cubic root it, right?
Okay, and then very good. Just like we talked about yesterday. Okay, if you have a cube, you cubic root to get rid of it. So I'm going to cubic root here, and I'm going to cubic root here. Now, the reason I asked you to pick up a calculator is because most of y'all have the square roots memorized, but you don't have the cubic roots memorized. So in the calculator, do you remember how to pull it up?
Nope.
Okay, it's math 4.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then when you push math 4, it'll bring up this.
Let's say 2.
That's correct. Yep.
Oh, dang.
Okay, now, UB, I can't do this every 5 seconds. I need you to just not talk right now. Okay? No. Okay, so in the calculator here, I'm going to type in math 4. Okay, you can see the choice here with the little 3 next to it. Okay, so math 4, and then I want the cubic root of 8. Now, if you don't know why it's 2, think about 2 times 2 times 2, that gives me 8. So it's like cubing it, but doing it backwards, okay? So the answer here is going to be x equals 2.
Is it?
Yep. Now, when you do a square root, do you remember how you have to do a plus or a minus?
Yeah.
Okay, for cube roots, you do not have to do that. This is why. Okay, we're going to do the graph on just these first 3 so that you'll know why.
Can I guess why? There's 3 of them. So if one is positive and one is negative, it's 1 is positive, it will cancel out.
Yes, that actually is why. Good job. Okay, y equals x cubed and y equals 7. This is why. Okay, y equals 7 is a flat line. Okay, so I would go to 7 right here, draw it in. Okay, but then your x cubed graph, it's not like a parabola where it's going to hit the line twice. It's only going to hit 1 time. So this minus 1, I would shift it down 1. Okay, so I would come to maybe like right here. And then when I draw my graph in, it goes up to the right, down to the left. It's only going to intersect in 1 spot. Now, imagine if this was a U, how many times would it hit? Twice. That's where the plus minus comes from. Okay? So 2 is the only answer. Okay?
So, hold on. Check. Where did the, I don't understand that part. I understand this part, solving for x. What is that over there?
So I'm just showing you why there's only one answer. So like on your homework, you don't have to do the graphs.
Oh, you ain't got to do the graph?
Now, she brought up a good question about checking. Look at step 4. We haven't filled them in yet. But because you don't ever get 2 answers, you don't have to check to see if they're extraneous with cubic roots. Okay, so we're demonstrating it just to show that the graph only crosses once. Okay, but you do not have to check. You do not have to graph on your homework, correct? Okay, so let's go down to number 2. Okay, I'm going to minus the 2 across. Negative 14 minus 2 more is how many?
Negative 12.
But, yeah, and then divide by? 2. Okay, now I want you to notice something else that's different. Negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8, right?
Yep.
If it was a squared, I'm not allowed to square root a negative, but check in your calculator if you can cube root a negative 8. Yes, you can. Math 4, look.
Negative 8.
Okay, negative 8, it gives me negative 2.
Even if it has a
Uh-huh. So
I
listen,
know why.
because there's 3 of them.
Yep.
So 2 of them will cross out, but if I keep it negative, that extra one will keep the negative. So, cube rooting a negative, look right here, creates a negative answer. It doesn't create an imaginary answer like square roots do. Okay, x equals negative 2. Okay, now we're going to sketch the graph one more time. Okay, however, if I were to try to graph it up here, okay, 14 would be way off my grid. So instead, we're going to check the graph from here. So I'm going to graph x cubed, and then I'm going to graph negative 8. Okay, so I'm taking both of these guys to check. That's supposed to be an arrow. Okay? Okay, then from there, negative 8 would be down here, flat line across.
You have to grab on the cut.
I don't
You
understand-
don't.
I don't understand how you get that though.
So I'm just taking each side and I'm just graphing each one.
I know about like the Y part.
Well, so you're just making each side its own y equals. So I'm making it y equals this side, then y equals that side.
You just go to Y, you put that in.
Yeah, or you could do it in the calculator. That's good too.
I'm so sorry, but I'll just
That's
ask you when it's done.
Okay.
I get
So,
what you're saying, though.
and then I go to 0 right here, because this one, look, it's not shifted at all. And then I do my left side, my right side, and where does it hit? Negative 2, which is the answer that we got over here. Now, again, you don't have to check on your quiz. This is just to show you what it's supposed to look like. Question? Because this one didn't have, remember how this one had a -1, so I shifted it down 1? This one doesn't have 1, so that's why I kept it at 0.
So it's just that. It's just
You keep it at 0, 0. Okay? Alright, go down now please to number 3. Now notice this time I don't have a cubed, I have a cube root. So I'm going to add the 2 across. Or I'm sorry, add the 3 across. And on the other side I already had a 2. What's 2 plus 3? Okay, so I have cubic root x equals 5. Okay, think about what we did yesterday. If I have a cubic root, how do I undo it? You cube. Very good. Okay, in the calculator, when you type in 5 cubed, you're going to do 5 up to the 3. Okay, so you're going to use the little up arrow. So it would be 5 up to the 3. Okay, and it is, yep, 125. And then over here, these guys cross out. 125 is your answer. Okay, now this is the last one that I'm going to sketch the graph for you. So I'm going to split each of my sides into its own y equals. So if my left side was cubic root x minus 3, I'm going to make it y equals cubic root x minus 3. And then my other side was a 2, so I'm just going to make it a y equals 2. So I'm splitting the equation in half, each into their own y equals. Okay, let's do the flat line first. Which of those will be flat?
The y equals 2.
Y equals 2 will be flat.
And you will do the other thing starting from down 3.
From negative 3, very good. So notice that I still remember from all the other days, a minus 3 at the end means down 3. So I will go down 3. And now look, my cubic graph is a squiggle kind of up and down. But remember that your cubic root graph goes sideways. Do you remember that from yesterday? So my graph is going to go over here forever and ever. And eventually, is it going to hit that line? Okay, but not till 125, so way off your graph. But you can still see it's only going to hit once. Okay? So we're going to come up to the top, fill in the steps, and then you don't have to graph anymore. Okay? So go up to step 1 at the top. Isolate the radical means to get it alone on one side. So you're going to get your cubic root alone, preferably on the left side, but really it doesn't matter. Okay, then you're going to eliminate the root by raising both sides to the power of the root. Okay, so this is what I mean by that. If it's a square root, you would have to square so that they match. If it's a cubic root, you have to cube so that they match. Okay, so square root you would square, or a cubic root you would cube. And so you just have to remember they're only partners if it's the same type. Okay, then you're going to solve for the x value. Okay, and then step 4 says you don't need to check for extraneous solutions. Okay, there's just one answer. When you get it, that's the only answer. Okay, turn over to the back. Okay. Good, okay.
Hold on.
I'll let you take a picture, Taj, since it's the whole front. Okay, come down please to number, let's do number 5. Okay, what do I do first? Okay, plus 1 on both sides. So I'm going to plus 1 here, plus 1 here. What is 5 plus 1?
6.
Okay, so look, I have cubic root, and then 5 plus 1 is 6. Now, when you get to here, you have to cube both sides to get rid of the cube root. Now, your cubes are going to get big really fast.
Easy.
Okay, because it's 6 times 6 times 6. So just use your calculator.
36.
Okay,
times
good.
6.
Yep, there are 2 ways to do it. Look, you can do 6 up to the 3, or you can do 6 times 6 times 6. Okay, either way you get 216.
216.
Okay, these guys cross out. And then you're going to minus 1 across. You'll get what for your answer? 215. Yep. Okay, take a look please at number 9. We are not going to do all of them, but we're going to do some of them to make sure you know how to do your homework. Okay, so number 9, what would I do first? Okay, minus the 8 across. Good. What is 5 take away 8? Okay, negative 3. Okay, now when I squared, I had to make sure to put parentheses around it if it was negative. It is the same rule for cubes. So when I cube here, I need to cube with parentheses there. Okay? And then remember, the cube and the cubic root cross out, so it's just an x minus 7. Okay, it is negative 27, but look, watch. All you have to do, negative 3 up to the 3, and it'll tell you what it is. Okay? So, negative 27, and then what's my last step? Okay, add 7, negative 20. Great. Now, even though you don't have to check, if you want to, you can. It doesn't matter to me. But you would do it exactly like we did last time. Okay, now look at number 10. How do I get rid of the cubic root? Cube. Now, can I minus the 4 across first? No. Because it's inside.
It's in the house.
Inside the house, that's right.
I was like, what?
So then these guys cross out. What's left over?
X squared plus 4 equals 2.
That's 2 cubed though. So 2 times 2 times 2.
It's 8.
8. What do I do next?
Look, minus 4,
Okay, minus the 4.
and then you square the other side.
Okay, so I have x squared equals 8 minus 4 is
4.
4. Okay, then how do I get rid of a square?
Square root. That's
The
easy.
square root. Good. Okay, and when you square root, you have to get a plus or a... Hey, Cameron, Darrell, can you also
Plus or minus.
do it after notes? We'll be done soon. Whatever crap you're doing, just do it later. Okay, so plus or minus, and then the square root of 4 is 2.
Why do you have to do the plus or minus though?
Because it's a square root. So remember that 2 times 2 is 4, and negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. So that's
You
why
just have to add that up.
you have to put both of them, yep. Okay, the next one we're going to do is going to be one with a T-chart in it. Okay, so look down at number 11, please. But before we start, I need you to take the negative off and make it a positive. Yep, right there. Okay, number 11. Okay, what is step 1? What do we do?
On 11.
You square it.
You mean not squared,
There's no negative on 11.
cubed. Yep, right. So it's number 11 on the 2. It was a negative, and so we're changing it. Bottom left corner.
Oh, that's all we had to
Yeah, yeah.
Just in the-
Okay, so I cube. These guys cross out. And I have an x squared plus 2x left over. Then what is 2 cubed, or 2 times 2 times 2? 8. Now remember, we took the negative off of the problem, or else it doesn't work. Okay, now, how do I solve from here? You have to minus the 8 across. Okay, this is the reason why. If you have an x squared and an x term, you have to solve by factoring. You can't do the thing we did on number 10. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 8.
And I know exactly what the pair is and all that.
Oh, no.
Okay? And t-chart, yes.
C-thought.
Okay?
Negative 8.
So I put a minus 8 up here at the top.
And this be 4 and 2.
Okay, 2 times 4, very good. Remember, there are other partners, but I want that partner because they subtract to give me 2 in the middle.
Yes.
Now, do I put the minus on the 4 or the 2 side?
On the 2 side,
On the 2 side. Then divide by x. And what do I get?
you get x minus 2, x plus 4.
Okay, minus 2 with x and plus 4 with x. But then remember that your answers are the opposite signs.
So it'll be a
sorry?
positive 2 and a negative 4.
I'll look in a second. Just hang on. Okay, take a look at number 12. This time I want you to put the negative back on the 3 for this one.
Okay.
Okay?
So
The signs on those were backwards. So the first step, what do I do?
square root. I
Nope.
mean, cubic.
Cube it. And remember, on the negative, I want to include the parentheses.
Yeah.
Okay? These guys are going to cross out.
X squared minus 12x.
And then when I do negative 3 cubed, you can do it repeated. Oh, wait, it's already on there,
Yeah,
yeah.
negative 27. That's it.
Okay, UB, Angela.
Then you gotta plus that over to the other side.
Okay, good. Okay, your negative 27 has to scoot over, and it's going to turn back to a positive. So you'll have x squared minus 12x plus 27. And then from there, you would have to do a,
So it'll be
T-chart.
9 and 3. That's it.
okay?
That's it.
So I put my 27 at the top. Okay, 9 times 3 does give me 27, but if I want a negative 12,
You gotta go from negative. That's
okay,
it.
very good. So 9 and 3 give me 12 when I add them, but if I want a minus 12, I turn them both minus in the chart.
The order pair would be positive 3, positive 9.
Yep. So I'll have x minus 3 and x minus 9 in the parentheses. And then your answers will be positive 3 and positive 9. And remember that with cubics, those are both solutions. You don't have to worry about having one real and one extraneous. Okay, the last one we're doing off your notes is number 14. Okay, if you have a cubic root on both sides, you solve it the exact same way. Cube and cube. And then what will happen to the cubic roots, even if there's 2 of them? They're still going to cancel out. So these guys are gone. These guys are gone. And you're just left basically with the stuff from the middle, which you should have been able to solve in Algebra 1. So you'd have x plus 8 equals 4x minus 2. Okay, then from here, which x do I cancel out? The 4x or the 1x? Okay, I'm going to minus the 1x, but technically you could minus either one. Okay? So then these guys cross out. I have 8 left over equals 4x take away an x is 3x minus 2. And then remember that when x is on the right, I'm going to switch it back. So I'm going to reverse those sides. Let my 3x minus 2 go on the left and my 8 go on the right. Then from there, what's your next step? Yep. 8 plus 2 gives me 10. And then if 3x equals 10, yep. And you can just leave it as 10 over 3, or if you divide it, it's 3.3 repeating. Okay? Okay, so you have a quiz tomorrow over. Okay, you have a quiz tomorrow over all the stuff we did, and I'm not helping you during your quiz. Listen. Okay, no, you will get to use your notes, but you have almost 30 minutes to get your life together. So if you sleep or do nothing, I will not help you tomorrow. You have your notes. If you need to see a picture of my notes to write them down, that's fine. But y'all, some of y'all are very bad about you fart around for a week and then need help the day of your quiz. It will not happen. So Yubi, pick up your pencil. What? Okay. What number is it? Kiss. 7.
I told her already.
Yes, ma'am. So you plus the 1 over?
It's fine. Okay, so we haven't even sent our message.
Yes, thank you.
Just how whatever you tell me, I would.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, y'all, on this one, you need to change it. What was it?
No, I'm not. This is about you, and it's not like
I don't remember what that one was supposed to be. X squared, 2 pages, negative 8. Hey, y'all, on number 9, this should be a 6. Okay, Yuri. Okay, we're changing number 9 to be a 6 instead of a 10. Okay, and we're
6X.
working 6x. Yep. Okay, you need to know. That one? No, you're not. Yeah.
Why?
Thank you. Hey, Xavier, why are you so late? Okay, you are late without a pass, and really you're absent because you missed half the class.
I thought about getting a pass after I was already up the stairs.
Okay, so I mean I see you dilly-daddling in the hallway when I'm going to my dentist appointment, so I don't know what's going on, but you have to be on time or you're gonna get marked down.
Dilly-dallying.
Okay, so you cube. So you got x squared, 6x, and then what about on that side? Yep. And then you'll move that over here. And if it was minus on that side, when you move it over, it's a plus. Yep. And then from there, you t-chart.
No, I saw that.
So how can you get to 8? Okay, 2 times 4. And does that also add to 6? So then those are your numbers. Divide by x on both. So you have x plus 2 and then x plus 4.
I looked at it and I was like,
Yes, ma'am. Good job, Keely. So then if your parentheses are positive, your answer will be negative.
and I was like, we're talking on the mic, like, and we're like, this is one after. Do you think that is? I don't know. Figure it out.
Yeah, we young.
Do you have a question?
Now that you told me, I see.
Uriel. Where you finna? Oh, you gotta go to work today, right? You gotta go to work today, right? You gotta go to work today.
So like on this one, we'll divide by 8 on both sides, and then so divide by 9 on both sides. So you'll have cubic roots. I'm not saying nothing, and then, okay. Just join her.
Most girls don't. You should have been.
Plus the 1 gave me a 4, and then
English.
okay, work.
Where?
Hey, chicks.
Okay, then back to
What you say? No, I do know her name. I'll just. What? What she say? You're not letting that
And then from there, you'll square root both sides.
Oh, really?
And remember, you'll get a plus minus when you square root.
Wait, so he added.
What the giveaway?
How do you know what the game?